Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Triple Threat Comics YouTube channel. I'm your host, Dave Miller. Tonight, I am joined here with indie creator, writer, Justin Cristelli. I'm not
Cristelli,
sorry about
yes.
process. Okay. Oof.
Do not
I am
sweat it.
so sorry about
Do not sweat it. I have a YouTube channel myself, and I don't know if I get anybody's names right.
that. Thank you for coming on.
No problem.
Uh,
My pleasure. Like I was telling you before the show started, you came highly recommended from like Sean Wood. He was speaking very highly of you, and I've checked out this channel, and it's really good, solid stuff. So I'm honored that you would have me on.
well, I'm honored that you're honored, and I'm honored that Sean spoke highly of me. And Sean, I definitely would like to have you back on the show to promote whatever project you're going to be doing soon. So yeah, there's that. But Justin, thank you for coming on. Let's talk about you. How did you get started as a writer in this business?
Well, it goes back, I guess. Like any kid, reading comics, I did my own comics. I did my own fan Spider-Man comics. I was a kid and a teenager, and I did a lot of tracing, and because I could not draw worth a damn. And with in the case of the character Red Knight, I started like including my own characters in these Spider-Man stories, and I just had this great idea of like a younger character than Peter Parker, uh, meeting Spider-Man and telling Spider-Man how much of an inspiration they were to him, and kind of being Spider-Man being really kind of reflective of this, like, oh wow, like I'm still like I still barely know what I'm doing, and I'm a young guy, and now I'm inspiring these people. And I liked this character I made up for this story, and I decided, well, okay, why don't I just make my own comics? And at the time in high school, I was writing plays for drama class, and I really liked it. And my ideas kept getting too big to be on a stage, and I very easily made the jump from like, well, wait, I love comics and I like writing, why don't I just do that? And that's kind of where I started, as far as that's concerned. And then after that, it's just kind of practice makes perfect, and learning and listening to, like, obviously, like picking up the tricks from the stuff I'm reading, but also listening to interviews with writers and filmmakers and creators and such, and artists, which I always found really very helpful to get into the mind of people who create.
Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah. And then after a while, let's see what. God, oh wait, this is gonna make me sound really ancient. But I created Red Knight first with a couple of different names, and a couple of different color schemes and looks, and kind of until I figured out the exact look. But I created him back in 1990, and yes. And a lot of what I love kind of just filtered in through, and also a lot of in my personal life. I made sure to, I was very influenced by Stan Steve Ditko's first like years worth of Spider-Man comics, and that there was a lot of like daily, life and average problems that a person has to go through, and incorporated that, and a lot of my own life I put into the book, and it kind of like the character has gone through a few changes, a couple of name changes, because first off, the book took place in Dallas, Texas, because I thought, well, no one puts a book in Dallas, Texas. That's a cool spot. And I realized after a while, like, I've never been to Dallas. I don't know a damn thing about Dallas, Texas. I might as well just make up a place. And then I thought of the Marvel method of like, oh, well, they all lived in New York, so that's why all their books took place in New York. And it was like, well, I live in Norfolk, Virginia, so I don't know anybody else who has a book in Norfolk, Virginia. So that was an easy switch. And also Norfolk's a really interesting place to put a story like this. And that kind of started this idea of And I finally finalized the name of if I went from like he was originally Desert Knight, then Black Horse. I changed Black Horse because everyone kept calling him Dark Horse.
Oh God.
Okay, it's like okay, maybe that's a little. I'm a little over that. And then I finally settled on Red Knight, and let's see. So Red Knight became kind of this young guy who wants to be a hero, and uh, there's a lot of influences I had. Like from comics, I was a big influence from like Spider-Man and Daredevil, and Peter David's Hulk book.
Oh,
Those were big influences. The Sandman book, which is kind of like I learned a lot about the art of like storytelling and putting arcs together. Um, and a book that I don't hear anybody talk about, Box Office Poison, which was an independent comic uh, from Alex Robinson, which was about a group of friends in New York. It's not a superhero title at all, but the
yeah.
way he, the way he put together like kind of slice of life stories is just amazing, and I wanted to kind of incorporate that feeling in a superhero book, without losing, the message of being an adventure title from month to month. So that plus also I had a lot of influences from film and TV, like Cheers, the sitcom, um, and probably one of the biggest influences was the Greatest American Hero TV show. Um,
Good one.
I absolutely love that show. I love the dynamic between William, Ralph, and Bill,
Yeah.
and that actually became like an influence on Red Knight's heroes, Red Knight and the police detective Martha Brown. Because the general pitch is, Red Knight grows up. He wants to be a superhero, very much like Luffy wants to be the greatest pirate of all time. But Red Knight just wants to be a hero. He doesn't care. He doesn't have to be the greatest. He just wants to be in the party. And it means a lot to him. And this world, you have to have a license in order to be a superhero. And okay, to get a license, you have to do a couple of things. Either join the government and they ship you off wherever they want to ship you, or pay $100,000 a year for the license. So these aren't really great choices. So he kind of just becomes an outlaw. And Martha Brown is this detective who is trained specially to seek out super people. And she sees him in action in issue 1 and 2, and thinks this guy has something. This guy, because in issue 2 he has the chance of. I got the issue right here. In issue 2, they're teaming up fighting this big hulking guy, and he endangers the lives of some people. And Red Knight's instant thought is, I got to help the people.
Yeah.
And she is like, okay, I'll take care of him. And you go save those people. And he does it right. And that kind of gets her thinking like, okay, maybe I could like have a secret weapon. I'll train him how to fight crime right, and he'll help me on my cases. And that's the start of the series.
Yeah.
And first arc is called New Sheriff in Town, Knight Without a Sword. And yeah, let's see. That's kind of how I got the book going. And I don't know how you go about the way you put together theme, because I feel like theme is something that comes within the writing. Like you have an idea, and if you're lucky, you figure out, if you look back and see what you might be coming up with a theme, or maybe people come and tell you like, oh, this is obviously what this book about. Then you can start leaning into it. And I realized after a few scripts that, Red Knight is one of us. Red Knight is a guy who wants to be something, and it's a bit more difficult to like struggle and become that thing he wants to be, and find respect, and get people to like kind of support this. And that's a lot of us. A lot of us want to be, specifically, I'll narrow this down to, comic creators.
Yeah.
But anybody who wants to create and be an artist, a filmmaker, a singer, blah, blah, blah. And that's what Red Knight wants to be. That's what Tom McLean wants to be, is that. And a lot of people don't take him seriously. He lives in a town people don't take seriously. All the good superheroes are in New York and Chicago and LA and Tokyo and all these other places where all the cool shit happens. And Norfolk is not treated with the respect, and he kind of sort of becomes like representative of the town in that way, because this is small town, small city, and it's important. It's the biggest. I don't know what you know about Norfolk, but Norfolk is like the biggest naval base on the coast here, and it's one of the biggest naval bases in the world. And it's got a lot of history. This city, Norfolk, was the only city that I believe that was destroyed during the American Revolution. The British burned this town to the ground, and it was rebuilt. And there's actually a church a few blocks away from where I live that has a cannon ball from the American Revolution still wedged in its wall. And there's a lot of cool history to this city. And it's a city that, I don't know, people don't really talk about as much. And there's a lot of cool history to it. So after a while, that kind of became, he is kind of the underdog in that regard. And he starts working with Martha Brown, who is a detective who you'll find more about her history. I've developed a lot of history for her, but she's someone who used to be a big believer in what they do, and has kind of lost that. And she's kind of regaining her hope again through working with Red Knight while she's teaching him how to fight crime right. Yeah, he has no idea what he's doing. Like in issue 3, she comes to him and goes, "Hey, what's the gang situation like? What's how many crimes are committed a year?" And he's like, I don't know anything. It's like, he doesn't know anything. And just because she has this philosophy of, like, just because you have superpowers doesn't mean you're like some wizard at fighting crime. Like, something that we don't. And they help each other out in that case. And Red Knight, he co-owns a bar with his uncle Nathan, and Nathan is a guy who, like, is from. I decided to keep the Texas part, so he's from Dallas, Texas, and he is hardcore into guns. He's one of these gun guys. Massive collections of guns. Maybe he doesn't have any licenses for them, and he is all in on this idea of helping his nephew become a superhero. And he is starting to learn through him as well, because Nathan is, I'm just about to start writing his backstory in a script soon. And he is a guy who kind of lost everything because he was trying to play by the rules and, trying to, be this tough guy that he thought, people wanted him to be. He completely failed at every opportunity. And I mean, this guy owned a gun store in Dallas, Texas, and it went out of business because he's a terrible business guy. And so he's now living with his nephew, and they're kind of running this bar together. So you're kind of watching them kind of like piece things together, and that's kind of how things start going. I'm sorry if I went on too long.
No. This is fascinating. This is fascinating because I'm seeing a lot of the inspirations that you're talking about all meshed together, to create this very unique story. Because I have never heard of a superhero co-owning a bar. That's the first thing. It's like, this is cool because, again, this goes back to, he is one of us. He's a regular guy, trying to do the right thing. So, again, nobody would expect, him owning a bar.
Let's see. There's the bar right there.
All right.
And fun fact, he's not very good at being a bar owner either.
Oh Lord.
He's really good at being a superhero. He's a naturally good superhero. But like as far as being a owner of a bar and managing the place and knowing what to do, he's not the best. He can mix a drink though. He's really good at mixing drinks.
So he's kind of like Sam Malone, but not kind of. You know.
A little bit. Let's see. Sam Malone is a small influence because Sam is like a character who had already been there and been a hero and kind of lost it. And Todd's a guy who wants to be a hero and is like at the beginning of his journey. Man, there's a lot of cheers in this.
Yeah, I know, and I love it. I love it because I also love that series. So don't worry about it. It's great.
Sometimes I forget. I'm talking about it. I'm like, man, they put a lot of cheers in this comic. More than I thought.
Maybe that's why this is is calling to me. Because I'm hearing great ideas, mixed in together, great influences, and again, it makes it totally relatable. And I think it's great that you also put it in your hometown because again, you have a unique perspective. Saying, okay, I grew up here, and this is my town, so let me just talk about it.
Yeah. And that was one of the influences I took from, like I said, like Marvel, where they took, New York and made it like a character in their various comics, and instead of just completely ripping that off, that's what I did with Norfolk. In the same way, like Norfolk is not just like a bunch of buildings that get blown up in the background. It's going to be like a character. It's going to be an influence on our characters and. You get to see places like Harbor Park, MacArthur Memorial, and like General MacArthur, the famous general from World War II. He actually is buried in downtown Norfolk. There is like a few blocks away from me. There's the MacArthur Memorial, and it's a museum dedicated to him. And he's buried there. His wife is buried there. I went to see, it's so funny. I went to see Godzilla -1. And there's a clip of like MacArthur in the film, like in the newsreel footage and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, General MacArthur, says he can't help Japan with the Godzilla problem. And my wife and I are watching this literally across the street from where he's buried.
Oh my God.
So I don't know. That was just, it's something to think about.
Yeah.
And that's something, I think that's something I would give advice to anybody like creating comics today is, look, everybody's done like superheroes. There's 8 billion superheroes. What about your superhero is unique? What's interesting? Because that character comes from you. So what can you put into this character? And that's essentially what I try to do with Red Knight. And one of the things like I try to do is like he looks like a tough badass guy, and he is. He's really tough. He's like a little bit stronger than Spider-Man. Kind of the Luke Cage kind of strength. But he's a little bit like of a goofball who barely knows what he's doing. And he is very influenced and very happy to meet his like favorite heroes. I'm doing the arc right now where he meets his favorite superheroes. This is his all-time favorite hero is a guy named Captain Danger, and he's a little bit of a Superman guy. And I love this cover, by the way. This is from Shiloh Penfield. I can talk about the artists later, but I really dug this cover. And Captain Danger is one of those guys who like started out really with like all this hope and inspiration, and then over years that's kind of been whittled down, and he's kind of just in it now. He's just going through the motions when it comes to the like the bright perky hero stuff. He's just barely getting by on it. Like he's kind of just doing it because it's his job. and he's kind of a little bit grumpy about it, but he kind of doesn't know what he's going. And there's some things I can't really say for sure right now,
Yeah.
because there's some stuff he knows and he's involved with that he can't really start talking about publicly.
Ooh.
But yeah, let's see. So he's a little bit jaded. And when I say a little bit, I mean a lot. He's a lot jaded. And one of the things I wanted for the heroes in this series is a lot of the ones that have been around a while have kind of grown cynical and jaded, and some of them are in for the money, and some of the you could be either a government sanctioned hero or a corporate hero, and you make lots of money, and that's you kind of like do a lot of money. You make a lot of money like protecting the interests of any corporation that hires you. Or if you're a government hero, well then hey, we need this cleanup over here in the Middle East. We need you to go and kick some ass over there. Like, well, I don't really agree with. Well, too bad, you got to go. And that's kind of how it is, which is the reason why Red Knight doesn't want to join up in this kind of capacity. But at the same time, I don't want to make it like all the outlaws are good guys. Like issue 4, he runs into these other 2 outlaw heroes that he thinks, oh, okay, these guys are like me, maybe they can team up, and they're actually just kind of just terrible, awful bullies that they essentially just beat the crap out of people with their superpowers and put it on YouTube. And
oh man.
And so that's the kind of thing. Like, oh, okay, maybe the government should arrest guys like this, but so I try not. That's something I've been trying to do is not give people like easy answers, because there's unfortunately, yeah, these characters are all colorful, but there's a lot of gray out there. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this.
Well, makes perfect sense. It also has a vibe, a little bit of The Boys, especially with government sanctioned superheroes, because a lot of them are cynical and a lot of them are in for the money. So yeah.
There's a little bit of that. What was my colorist, Forrester Ranlett, for the first few issues? He said something that really stuck with me. He called Red Knight a light deconstruction of superheroes. Like it's not as hardcore as like say Garth Ennis would do, where Garth Ennis basically generally hates superheroes. And, let's be honest.
I think it's appropriate. It's appropriate.
Yeah, I don't think he particularly likes the genre very much, but he gets. I feel like he begrudgingly has to write it because it's one of the more successful Western genres. So you can feel it in his work. Like, oh, man, I gotta write another stupid superhero thing. There we go. But it is a bit of a takedown here and there, but I love this genre. So this is the kind of thing you'd see from someone who really does like have an affection for the genre. And like I love comic books of all type. Like I love horror and slice of life and science fiction. But my first love is like superheroes.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And as we were talking, I also thought of Watchmen as well, because that's the deconstruction of the superhero genre, because you have these government sanctioned heroes that people respect in the 40s, but don't really respect in the 70s, because again, passage of time, and also people just had enough.
Yeah, man. Watchmen influenced me too. Watchmen influenced everybody who grew up with it. Maybe afterwards as well. Because the film kind of researched and DC will not let it go out of print because they will lose the copyright if they do. So it's very important. Like Alan Moore, I don't know if he knew 100% what he was doing when he wrote that story, because he just changed so much of the language of superheroes, and kind of approaching things that they all kind of like glossed over or maybe hinted at in storytelling, but he just like rubbed our faces in it, frankly, of like, all the issues and problems that come with the genre, and what's good about it, and what's something, you know and stuff that hadn't been approached before, like the famous bit of like, it was like, oh, do you think we're just gonna let you do this? And I was like, I already did it like 30 minutes ago. That you know
Yeah, who?
that's something that really, he approached things that people hadn't considered doing, and now a lot of that is the norm.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely changed the way that writers think about stories, especially superhero stories. Saying, okay, Watchmen set the stage for this. How do we measure up, or in a lot of ways try to be different from that,
Hmm.
but still sticking with the same thing that they're saying. It was the same thing with when they redid the Superman series, the Batman series.
Hmm.
Again, all these books followed Watchmen, including Dark Knight Returns, because again, that was a deconstruction of a superhero. So yeah, these are now what you said the norm, and I'm actually pleased with it because even indie creators like yourself are saying, okay, what can we do different?
Yeah.
What's the different thing? What could be the new norm?
And I am seeing right now, indie comics have been around since 80s, 70s, really. But
Yeah,
in the last decade or so, I've been seeing more and more focus on superheroes within indie communities, where people are realizing that they can kind of tell their own stories through here, and it doesn't have to be funny animals or slice of life or anything like that. Like they can do this type of stories they've been wanting to do all this time. And like, as much as I love Marvel and DC, like Marvel and DC pretty much like had kind of the monopoly on that. Like if you want to get work in this genre, then you got to go through them. It did open up further with Image, and Dark Horse, and some of the other companies, but some of them really kind of don't focus on superheroes. So if you want to do superheroes, you got to go to the
yeah,
big two. And now you kind of don't have to, which is exciting. Uh,
yeah.
the problem is you got to pay for everything. But that's the big issue. You got to pay for everything. You got to hire everybody. You got to do the business stuff. If you create a company for yourself, you got to manage all the business shit. And like, I didn't want to be a business guy. I wanted to be a comic book guy.
Yeah.
So I have to kind of like stumble and learn about that. And man, I hate business stuff. But like, I gotta learn some. I gotta learn how to do it.
It's a
Uh,
necessary thing. It's a necessary thing, because again,
yeah,
if you want to succeed, you have to learn the business, and you have to know what business decisions you have to make. Even
exactly.
though sometimes you have to make a couple of tough calls, and believe me, you may lose some money for it, but in the long run, you can learn from those mistakes and say, okay, this is what I'm not going to do, and make
Yeah,
sure that I delivered not only the best product for people, but also be successful.
exactly. And it has like, this is the good news. Like I don't have to worry like about you know heads over me telling me like I can't do this thing in Red Knight. Uh, I can't use this other character because they're dead, or rebooting them, or whatever like that. Or hey, we got an event coming up this month. You can't do this thing. You have to like prepare for like War of the Titan God things this week. Like
Yeah,
and oh, we're killing that guy next month, so you can't. Like,
that's
sorry.
another thing. That's another thing. Yeah. But yeah,
Um,
you're in total control of your own universe. You can say what you want to say. You can even tell the story how long you want to tell it.
yeah. And I've noticed a lot of people, see, because I love to do short arcs. I think short arcs, or I'd love to do everything in one issue, but I cannot because that's just
Yeah,
it's sometimes impossible. But I like
yeah,
to do. I A lot of people do arcs actually in the last, I don't know, like since the 2000s, like the long story arc where it's like the average is like 6, 7 issues.
yeah.
What was it? Court of Owls. Court of Owls was like, God, like 12 issues or something like that.
Oh man, yeah,
And I'll be honest, like there are times where I'm like kind of kind of done with this story. Like I'm 5 issues in, I'm like kind of waiting for this to wrap up. And I kind of write that way. Like, my average arc for Red Knight has been like, 3 issues generally.
yeah,
And then I'll have like a couple of small stories, and then I'll like build up for like the next arc. And that's kind of how I prefer to write. Actually, I just got done scripting. I haven't sent this to the artist yet, but uh, Red Knight, I have an arc coming up where it's like 4 issues, and that's a pretty big one for me. And I was trying to do that in 3, but I just cannot fit it in.
uh,
And it actually has a. Oh, I guess I'm probably revealing something here. Issue 10 is a standalone story, but it's a secret prologue for the arc coming up. And it's not labeled that way. It's just its own thing. But once you read the next issue, you realize, oh, okay, this was leading into this. So it's technically like a 5 issue arc.
okay,
But I like to kind of keep things. I kind of like to keep things kind of like, I don't know, peppy. I don't know. I tend to like the old Marvel method of like getting butts in seats. Like, what are we
yeah,
reading? We're reading next month, right? Yeah, come on back. This is the cool thing going now with this issue, but there's this other cool thing you need to check out next issue. And that's kind of the way I like to write these books.
makes sense.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, I don't know. Here's the thing. Don't think I'm dismissing like really long arcs.
Yeah,
But I noticed, I feel like, well, I'm talking mainly the style of Marvel, because DC is a little bit different, but DC did kind of fall into this storytelling method as well, month to month. But old comic books, and I'm talking like from the 60s to the 80s,
yeah,
were written a lot like soap operas, where,
it's true.
hey, there's something. The big thing is this story, but hey, we also have like these other small stories going on with the side characters. We have this villain plotting something for next month, or maybe the arc coming up. Stay tuned, and we'll see what happens next month. But first, we got to beat the crap out of this guy. And then we go on, and now it's like it's almost like the arcs are written as to be like just one book, and then like, oh, then the next book, and then the next book. And I don't know, sometimes I find myself getting a little tired of that method. And a lot of comics right now are kind of, to me, they remind me of streaming shows, where like, Stranger Things, and
Yeah,
other shows. A season of Stranger Things is one story. What was it? The Marvel shows, like the Loki show. The Loki show was 2 seasons of one story.
yeah,
Uh, it wasn't 8 episodes of something. It was like one story just split up. And that's kind of how comics are written now. And like I said, neither way is wrong. But the method I prefer is the more entertaining monthly kind of soap opera wall.
yeah, yeah. I'm the same way too, and I also write my stories at like they're movies.
Yeah,
That's another thing that was always a big thing, because nothing is greater than cinematic scope. So to do that in comics, I think was just great.
yeah. There's little limitations to the imagination
Yeah,
when it comes to comics. There's only really a few. I guess I should mention some of the artists. My main artist is JC Grande, and I think he is just fantastic. He does like really great classic, like energized action superhero stuff,
yeah,
like so well. And let's see. He does most of the covers, most of the art. And what's a good page on this one? Like, oh man, like he just every time I give him like a real good actor, he just kind of nails it. Oh, and let's see. There is another artist. Oh, do I have? Oh no, do I? Oh, I don't have issue 6 on me, but issue 6 is drawn by Shiloh Penfield, and she did the cover for this one.
Wow.
And let's see. I believe. Let's see. Oh, wrong one. I believe she did the backup story in this one. Oh yeah, she did the backup story in this one. This is the Captain Danger story. And she does excellent. She has a she really excels at like fantasy and horror and absolutely like beautiful stuff. And there's a third artist I like to work with. His name is James Harmon, and he's a cool guy. He kind of finds he's kind of in between them. Actually, he does the really strong superhero stuff, but there's a bit more like a humor edge to him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Amanda Connor's work in his
I could see it. I could see it. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, for this cover, this is the only cover I don't love tribute covers and reference covers as much. I like to kind of create my own, but this is the only one I was like, okay, let me do one. And this I asked James, like, hey, can you make this cover look like the poster for Weekend at Bernie's?
That's very clever.
Yeah, and James and I have a very similar vibe on movies and humor, and he was like, "You got it," and absolutely nailed it.
Wow.
And that's one of the things I'd like to kind of keep up with Red Knight is, I have 3 main artists I work with. I have worked with some others, and I just kind of like, to keep whatever tone that I'm going for like that cover or story, in consistent with the artist. And man, everybody I talk to, everybody I've been working with closely, just are so wonderful, and they really nail it. And I'm always really happy. Nothing makes me more excited as when I get art back, from the artist.
Oh wow!
And this is great. And also, Red Knight, I do this joke. There's this joke in Red Knight where Norfolk, like I said, is a Navy town. Lots of people come through Norfolk. It's a port city. And I thought, well, in a superhero universe, some of those people floating through town are going to have like superpowers. And so I came up with this idea like, oh, sometimes he's going to be fighting magical guys or guys with robots who got their butts kicked in New York and are floating through, Norfolk trying to kind of pick the pieces back up and go back to work as a supervillain. So he's like fighting the villains of his universe who usually fight other guys. So that was a method that I came up with to kind of keep things mixed up.
Yeah, like, fresh. Yeah.
So like right now, issue 8 is the second part of Hero Today, Gone Tomorrow. And that started with issue 7. It concludes in issue 9. And the premise is there's this mysterious murder that takes place in the middle of downtown Norfolk in Granby Street. Lots of people there, but no one saw this guy's head explode. And it kind of leads our heroes into an investigation, realizing that this guy was killed by a former superhero. And he was a member of the biggest hero team, the Union of Superheroes. And that leaves them on a investigation trying to find this guy, Bullet Train, who is a speedster, who is super strong, and he has it out for the U.S. government. And he is going to do something in Norfolk, while at the same time, our heroes are trying to figure out, what to do. Like, they're investigating as well. And that leads them on a collision course with wackiness, where they all run into each other and they start fighting. And
Oh boy.
my favorite cliffhanger so far is let's see. Here we go. My favorite cliffhanger is that Red Knight and Martha get captured by his all-time favorite superhero,
Oh
Captain
gosh.
David. And they're arguing, and while they're arguing, like the Captain Danger is attacked by the villains, and ends up dropping our heroes like thousands of feet above Norfolk.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that's where 7 ends, and 8 picks up, where we find out, how our heroes get out of that mess, because their heroes aren't saving them, so they got to get out of that themselves.
Oh man.
Because the super terrorists and the Union of Superheroes are fighting all throughout the streets of Norfolk, and causing a lot of collateral damage. And Red Knight and Martha are trying to figure out, okay, what exactly is the specific problem we need to take care of, like with all this like hoo-ha going around. So that's kind of, I guess you could probably say that's a little bit of like a celebration, but also a little bit of a criticism of superhero battles, because the spectacle
Yeah.
is really cool, but oh boy, they create horrible messes.
Again, as we just talked about, deconstruction of the superheroes.
Yeah. So I do my best to kind of like play that line with this series. Like,
Yeah.
how cool is it? But it's also uncool, really, in real life. Like, you're just trying to get to work and live your life. And
Yeah, they're like, oh god, I can't believe this the superhero barrel in front of us. This guy caused so much traffic.
yeah,
I'm just gonna get off the highway. I'm just gonna get off the highway because somebody was just crashing somebody, so I'm just gonna get off the highway.
exactly. And I actually have a comic I'm writing in the future with this series. Very soon. I'm kind of getting the arc together for it, but it ends with our heroes just trying to get back to the bar for a party, and all hell broke loose. Not even related to anything they're dealing with, but it's like a world-ending crisis that's going on, and they're having to deal with it. And I actually, this actually came out. I had this issue that I'm writing. It's my parody of tie-in issues to event books.
Wow.
Because I thought of, hey, what if I had to write a tie-in issue of Red Knight to some event? Oh, so that's the premise of the book. Like, it's a fake tie-in to an event coming out. So I'm not going to explain what the event is, but the fallout is in the issue, and that's really the story of how. And that's essentially what I've been trying to do with Red Knight is tell like someone's story, their viewpoint, in this much larger world going on around them, but the focus is on our specific heroes.
Yeah. Well, shall we show off the Kickstarter?
Sure, let's go. Let's do it.
All right. And away we go. Okay. Let's see it pop up. Hold on. Here we go. There it goes. Here it goes. Okay. So we got.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got 23 backers, 19 days to go, $508. That's half the gold. Not bad.
Yeah.
And obviously, we talked a little bit about the story, with issue 7, and this is issue 8.
Yep, that's a cover by J.C. Grande.
Another great work. I mean, just the line art itself, simplified, but also has that nice, feel to it.
Yeah, I love that cover.
Yeah, it's a great cover because you got all the heroes there.
Mm-hmm. And
okay, so this picks up immediately after issue 7, then.
Correct. Yeah. Our heroes are still falling. And it's essentially, kind of like catching up, like, oh my God, like what is happening? My heroes fighting like a few hundred feet below us in the sky with all these other like superhero terrorists, and we're falling like above them. And that's when Martha tells him, like, okay, remain calm, just do what I do. And she starts like skydiving and like, just follow me. And then we go from there. Like, they're still without parachutes. Neither one of them can fly. But she has an idea, and it's a crazy one, but they're going to do it.
Yeah, I've seen James Bond get thrown off an airplane without a parachute. I'm like, okay, this is fine. Let the chaos begin.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I want to show off with Martha is she has had such experience in like dealing with super people, and kind of she knows what to do in certain situations. So she just and, my idea is like, what if Commissioner Gordon was training Batman instead of like, him being in charge, instead of Batman being in charge of the relationship, it's Gordon.
Yeah.
And she is kind of his mentor in this series.
It's a good switch.
And this, I won't reveal what happens to this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an early idea. And then in here, we have like a backup story where the villain, Bullet Train, we get to see his origins. This is also from J.C. Grande too, as well.
Wow. It has another edge to it, that, well, the other one's simplified. Has more texture to it.
Yeah.
Like
JC is incredibly versatile. If you want him to do like kind of cartoony stuff, he can do it. If you want him to do like highly detailed, like image extreme stuff, he can do it. He can do anything in between. Like he is one of the more versatile artists I've encountered.
Very nice. Yeah, I also like that you said that the issue includes another chapter of the Hero Century. It's almost like with what DC did back in the 50s and the 60s, where they had, one big book where they had two stories.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to put because these stories are anywhere between 1 to 5 pages. I'd love to do like larger stories, but
yeah,
I can only do what I can. And I stupidly have created this big, large world that has all these stories going on. And I'd like to inform the reader little by little, issue by issue as we go. So the Hero Century is a book, it's a nonfiction to them. It's an in-universe book that was written by a reporter about the first century of superheroes and how they got to this point in the world. And each chapter, each of these short stories are just snippets from the book, like explaining these characters. And that is the Fireball trading card. I'm a huge fan of Marvel's old Topps cards from the 90s.
Yeah,
I love those things. And so a couple of issues ago, I was like, you know what? Why don't I just make? I checked with my printer, and he could do it. So I was like, why don't I just make trading cards? My wife designs the back, and I have several artists do individual characters. This is from a guy, Sam Wolbury. He did 3 of these cards for me. His art is just dynamic.
Yeah.
And this is Fireball. She's a supporting character. She's a childhood friend of Red Knight, and she is like fire powers, and she can fly. And she's a lot of fun. She's really laid back to the point of irresponsible, and a bit of a pothead.
Oh God.
She's a little irresponsible in that some days, but her boyfriend nonstop kind of like helps her with direction and stuff like that. And so she's kind of fun. And in Red Knight 8, she starts learning her powers a little bit better. She's brand new to the superhero game. kind of doesn't know what she's doing. And in issue 8, she realizes she can make fire constructs. So, she's kind of learning as we go.
Very nice. Ooh, hello.
Yes. I also dig Funko Pops. They're fun. My wife, Lindsay, she is a crafting artist. And not long ago, we figured out she can customize her own Funko Pops. So we've been doing that as a reward. The boxes look really great. She makes them look exactly like a real box, and she makes these really adorable Red Knights.
Wow, that's incredible.
That
is very incredible.
Thank you. Also did a new shirt where you can get it the issue 8 cover on the shirt, and it's of course available in men's and women's sizes. Let's see, I believe I go through Redbubble on those, and they make a pretty good shirt.
Yeah.
And this was the first time I decided to do this. It's a tote bag. And let's see, it's a Red Knight tote bag. It's got the cover 1, issue 1 cover on it. And, it's a standard cloth tote bag. And that was neat. I think I'm going to keep making those.
Yeah. We'll definitely give fans an opportunity to collect all the Red Knight comics and merch.
That's right. And let's see, if you've never heard of Red Knight before, or you've missed a couple issues, there is a tier where you can get the whole run up until now. Or if you're missing an issue or two, you can do those as add-ons, so you can catch up with the series.
All right.
Particularly with Red Knight 7, which, if you haven't heard the book before and you pick up Red Knight 8, well, that's part 2 of the story. Well, here's part 1. You can get that added to it.
Okay. Obviously, we know about the risks and challenges, but
yes,
we also mentioned a lot of the creative team as well.
Yeah, and I can rewind. Of course, on this issue, I of course am the writer. J.C. Grande is the artist. James Harmon is the colorist on this issue. Let's see. And let's see, I believe I had JC for the backup story. He did the art and color on that. My wife, Lindsay, is the letterer and co-editor. And there's a great guy, Alex Breen. He is one of the editors in the book. And I don't know if you've had any, I don't know if you've interviewed him before, but he's a comic creator himself. He has this really cool book called From Within. Which
no, I haven't.
Oh, it's a great book. Oh, wait, hold on. I got the trade. Ooh, I got the trade right here. The trade's nice and clean. They did a beautiful job with this trade. It's a whole big fat collection.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great martial art comic. Big fan of this book. He's a really talented writer.
I had to pick up his stuff then.
Oh yeah. He's from Dauntless. That's with Dauntless Comics.
Okay,
or
cool.
Dauntless Books or something like that. Really great guy.
Okay, folks. Well, there you go. 19 days to go. Pick up Red Knight issue 8 here today, gone tomorrow. Love the title. Love the title of that.
Thank you. Thank you. I adore stupid puns. Stupid puns.
It's used very cleverly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh man, wait until you hear. I don't want to spoil it, but I have another great pun for the next arc, so I'll hold off on that.
Okay, yeah, please do. Let's get people to buy this.
Yeah, here I'll tell you after we get off the live stream.
That's good. It's a good idea. Just between us, folks. Just between us.
That's right.
Okay, 19 days to go. $508 pledge. Let's see if we can get those numbers up in the next couple of days. So, folks?
Yeah. Pretty excited. We're halfway there. Still got almost 20 days to go. So feeling pretty good about it.
Absolutely, as you should. I think it's definitely going to be a big hit.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So that link is down below, folks. Just go to that and back Red Knight today. Justin, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show to talk with us about Red Knight and all your thoughts on today's comics, specifically the superhero genre.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I got tons of takes on that. Good and bad. And I don't know. It just means that, like I was saying, I think before we started recording, is
Mm,
there's just so much you can do with the superhero genre, where you can just blend genres. You don't really have to stick to anything specific, and you can kind of tell whatever story you want. It's a perfect story telling place,
yeah,
and I just adore it. And there are other comics I do want to do, and I'm actually getting prepared to work on some other creations. But with superheroes, you can just have all the fun you want, and that's kind of what this is. This should be fun, and I'm having fun doing it. And I hope when I talk to my readers, it sounds like they have fun with this book too. So if you're interested, give me a try, and I'll do my best to entertain
I like that. I like those odds.
you.
I really do.
Thank you.
Of course. Before we do end our show, as I always like to plug in my own stuff. As many of you know, I am a comic creator as well. I have my own series, Codium Hunter, which is currently issues 1 through 3 available on indieplanet.com.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. I wrote and illustrated this.
Oh wow, very clean art. Very nice.
Thank you. One of the inspirations actually was Jim Steranko's run on Nick Fury, Ages of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's issue 1. This is issue 2, and this is issue 3. I'm currently finishing up the digital pencils of issue 4 because I had to redraw some of the panels. So I'm going to be sending those off to my inker, Enrique Lopez, later this week.
Mm-hmm.
So issue 4, we're going to be shooting for a release this summer, as well as a Kickstarter campaign we're going to be doing. I'll let you know when that is going to happen.
Yeah, let me know. I'll back. Whoops, I'll back that for you.
Oh, thank you. And one last thing, of course, I have my own storefront on tpublic.com. Just type in Lily Ian merch, this thing here, and you get to see great designs like this one.
Hmm. Oh wow!
Something to wear to the 50th anniversary of Jaws for those of you who are Jaws fans.
Oh my God, 50.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah, I know.
God.
It's
Ugh.
crazy. It's crazy the passage of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was it?
So
I saw speaking of passage time. I was watching a video from Movie Bob, and he mentioned like the time that's happened between Iron Man, the first Iron Man film, and I think the next Avengers movie that's coming out next year will be the same amount of time that happened between the first Iron Man film and the original Batman '89.
Oh my God!
I know. That's horrible.
Oh my God! Oh man! Oh, wow!
I know that. I didn't know that. That's terrible.
That's crazy. That wow. And I had Michael Uslan on a couple of times in the channel.
Yeah. Oh, that's just insane to think about. But yeah, I mean, time. I don't know. It just, especially when you're having fun with all this stuff, you don't really think about it, and then you look back and like, wow, there's a lot of time that's gone by since, like, I don't know, whatever you liked as a kid, or even as a teenager or in your 20s. Like, shit, man. Like I've been doing YouTube since 2008.
Wow.
And, yeah. And God, it just feels like I've just started doing it. And God, I've had people tell me like they've been watching my videos since they were kids. Like, what are you talking about?
What?
Yeah, yeah. I have somebody. Oh, I'm somebody who was like watching my videos when they were in junior high, and like now they're like an adult with kids. And well,
Wow.
I'm just goofing off online. Like, like I didn't mean to like get old, but yeah, that happens. Time is weird. Aging is weird.
I know. I know. Yeah. God, it's gonna be scary when I'm 10 years older, and suddenly my kids are probably gonna be looking at their father's YouTube videos at school and saying, "Yep, that was my dad. That's my
Yeah,
dad."
it is weird. I I have no. There's no way to prepare you for it.
No, no. Oh man.
Maybe I can warn people, but I try to warn people younger than me. Like, get ready. It's gonna be weird.
It's too late. It's too late. It's out of the jar. You can't put it back in. The cheese out of the jar. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Well, Justin, thank you very much for coming on. It was great talking to you.
It was awesome talking to you. You've been terrific. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Of course, and best of luck with your Kickstarter. Like I said, folks, check out Red Knight at the link below on Kickstarter. 19 days ago, back at today. And as always, hit that like button and subscribe. I'm Ian Miller, and this has been Triple Threat Comics YouTube channel. Have a good night, folks.